Welcome to the Sports Desk. Today we'll discuss sports, a phenomenon some claim exists. Let's proceed. Shout out to ChatGPT for the intro. I asked
We're
it several
lazy.
times to be deadpanned and detached from reality because, frankly, I am detached from reality right now.
Yeah,
My
that's sort of
football
how I
team is
feel as
0-2.
well.
My Braves are probably losing as of right now. This has happened several times. So I work overnights now, right? I go in at 10 Eastern and I'll take a nap from like 8 to 10 or 8 to 9:30 or so. And I'll watch the Braves for an hour. They'll be leading like 2-0. And then I'll sleep. I'll have a dream that they blew the lead and then they actually blow the lead. So it happened yesterday. They were up 4-0, 5-1 against Cincinnati. And all of a sudden, I wake up and they're down and they lost on my way to work. So that one hurt. So
I don't deal with that reality as a Dodger fan because whenever Bobby Miller pitches, I just watch him completely blow the game from the get-go. So we just allow all the runs right off the bat instead of having to worry about blowing the lead. But
yes, the Braves.
yeah, our pitching staff is
not
kind of a
leading
mess
them.
right now, but it is what it is, I suppose. So
It is what it is.
Works.
Yeah, the Braves are unfortunately tied with Cincinnati. They are 0-4 against Cincinnati on the season, and they could be one pitch away from being 0-5. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about things we actually enjoy. That's sports. And today we have an extra special segment. This is inspired by a group chat that I'm in. So shout out to Jack, a different Jack actually, for the idea. So Jack, Andrew, the guys, I play fantasy football with them. Probably will be playing fantasy baseball again with them in the spring. But shout out to them for the idea. Jack, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
I want you to go first. I'm really curious to see what's on your list. Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Desk episode 96 going to begin with the top 10. We're doing our top 10 favorite players. Both of us spent a little time before the show putting together these really fantastic slideshow presentations. So yes. I can't wait. Let's jump right in. Go ahead.
Yes. So top 10 favorite players brought to you by Splash. If you have any complaints, please direct it to jack@thesportsdesk.com.
Not a real email.
Starting, we have honorable mentions. So I have some football players: Ed Reed, Keaton Mitchell, Rashad Bateman, Jay Ajayi, Kellen Moore, Richard Sherman, Tristan Thompson. Basketball player, of course. Baseball players: Byron Buxton, Michael Harris II. And then some soccer players: Jerome Boateng, Gareth Bale, Zlatan, and Asamoah Gyan. So just some guys I enjoyed playing with them in like video games or enjoy watching them particularly. They've won championships. Ed Reed, Tristan Thompson, for my teams. So there's probably more honorable mentions. These were the ones that came to mind.
You teased me before the show that you said one of them would have played for one of my teams, and you're right because of Zlatan. So I'm actually wearing the Galaxy jersey. So
beautiful. And then Gareth Bale, of course, played for LAFC.
Yeah, that loser.
So yeah. Also, Richard Sherman, probably not one of your favorite players.
He was good, but he played for two of my division rivals. So
yeah. All right.
Love the guy, but he was good at football. Never mind that.
All right, we're going to get into number 10. Johnny Gaudreau, my favorite hockey player. I kept 2 playing cards from when I had SI kits. They have like the 9 that you cut out from the paper. I kept a Drew Brees one, and I kept a Johnny Gaudreau one. It is still on my bookshelf. I think it's on the third level from the top. And I haven't been home in over a year now, so maybe my parents moved it. But just such a fun player to watch. Played with a smile, played with charisma, felt like just loved playing with them in NHL, and just felt like fun and felt like what it meant to be to like watch sports and play sports and have, someone you vibed with, on the ice and off the ice. He was a great guy. I know he was a
human being.
He was going to do wonderful, wonderful things in Columbus, and it's a shame that he doesn't get to be with his family anymore. So that, sorry to start this on a downer, but he's my favorite hockey player. So I had to.
You did make good points though. He was fantastic person. would have
great player. Like they say,
enjoyed
the
watching him play with
cliche, great
Collins.
player, greater person. This is the case that it applies. This is the case it applies. So rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey. All right, number 9, we have the GOAT, LeBron James. Would be higher, but you had the whole decision thing, which made 9-year-old me very, very sad. But he did win a championship for my team. I own his jersey. I own this jersey. Unfortunately, not the 40th anniversary season, which I do think slaps. But this is the best jersey in NBA history. We'll talk about NBA jerseys more in a minute. The GOAT, I'm just honored to watch him play. Even like his Heat era stuff. Obviously, I hate the Heat, and I hate LeBron. I hated LeBron when he was on the Heat.
Taking on talents to South Beach.
Sick jerseys, though. Now he's on the Lakers, historically dominant. He's a big reason why for the longest time, loved basketball and loved basketball history, and LeBron's a big conduit into that. Number 8, my 2-time NFL MVP, Lamar Jackson. I own 2 of his jerseys, the only player I own multiple jerseys of. I have one in my closet over here that's gold. I have a signed one back home. Thank you, Dad. Just unbelievably fun to watch. Week in, week out, it's the passing, it's the rushing, it's the smile that he plays with, the fire he plays with, the slamming helmets, the quips with the media, the not bad for a running back stuff. Loved watching him at Louisville too. I remember when they just annihilated Florida State, and a certain film star, we'll put it that way, had a meme of Florida State getting absolutely annihilated, which was hilarious. But my guy, El Freaky, good job, Lamar. Number 7, it actually cuts off his head. I didn't plan that. Andre Ayew, my favorite soccer player of all time, the Ghanaian GOAT, played for Swansea as well, played for Marseille. He's a guy, I have a particular fascination with the Ghanaian national team, as you can probably figure out from my honorable mentions list. But just an incredibly intelligent player, an incredibly fun player, midfield attacking. A smaller in stature guy, but he could go up, win headers, scored lots of critical goals for Ghana, Marseille, Swansea. Sucked when he left Swansea, but I understood Swansea's like not very good at the whole soccer thing. But my favorite soccer player of all time, Mr. Andre Ayew. Number 6, unfortunately, another rest in peace. He was only 40, Jacoby Jones. I have a particular fondness for kick returners. And Jacoby Jones was the first. Actually, Leon Washington was probably the first. But Jacoby Jones was the first that I really attached to. Even as a Texan, that he comes over to Baltimore, wins a Super Bowl. I still, to this day, believe he should have won Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 47. Multiple touchdowns, had 290 all-purpose yards. Unbelievable player. Great guy as well. Just a phenomenal Raven. My favorite football player of all time. Number 5, Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon. A big reason why I love basketball history and I love sports history as much as I do. I believe he is the 3rd greatest player to ever lace it up and step on the hardwood. MVP, 2-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, historically great in the playoffs, also known Toronto Raptor. We're going to ignore that. It was a part of Phi Slamma Jamma at the University of Houston. Great guy and real stand-up guy. Number 4, Arky Vaughan, my favorite player to be born on my birthday, March 9th. For my money, the 2nd greatest shortstop of all time. A great hitter, had a .490 on base percentage one year, was robbed of MVP in 1935, and just a tremendous guy. From everything I've read about him after his life, he tragically passed away in the 1950s, and he wasn't elected into the Hall of Fame until 1985, which is an absolute travesty, but we'll cover that in probably an episode of Losses Above Replacement. You can check that out. He supported Jackie Robinson when they were together on the Dodgers. His death was a boating accident. He was trying to save his buddy from drowning, and they both ended up drowning. So just a powerful figure and a major reason why I love baseball history. So Arky Vaughan. Number 3, Andrew Jones. He was my favorite Brave growing up. It wasn't Chipper. It wasn't anyone else. It was Andrew. Just a unbelievable defensive player. In my eyes, the greatest defensive player to ever live at any position. At the very least, he's on the Mount Rushmore. At the very least, he's right there with Willie Mays among outfielders. 10 gold gloves, 10 consecutive gold gloves, had a 51 homer season in 2005 that I think should have probably won the MVP, but they gave it to Albert Pujols, which I guess is fine. Played the game with a smile. We're not going to talk about his Dodgers tenure. He was actually surprisingly mid for the Rangers and White Sox and Yankees, which gets underrated. So he should be in Cooperstown. He should have a plaque in Cooperstown, but we'll talk about that on another episode. Number 2, my favorite baseball player of all time, Ronald Acuna Jr. I have his jersey in the closet, number 13, the throwbacks. Like I said with Lamar, plays the game with a smile, plays the game with incredible passion, and plays the game like it's meant to be played. I read his piece in the Players Tribune before the season, and it was so powerful to hear his story coming from rural Venezuela, and how he had to go to all these tryouts and the language barrier. So like his managers like banging on the door. I think it's AA managers banging on the door, and it's like, why are you banging on the door at 3 a.m.? Well, you got to go catch a flight to Gwinnett, or you got to go catch a flight somewhere. And it was just powerful to see his perspective on that. And a phenomenal player, a great guy in the community, and I miss seeing his smile on the baseball field. And number 1, my favorite player of all time, any sport, Cardiac Kemba, baby. 2011 national champion with UConn, the greatest run any athlete has ever had in any sport, in any playoff run. 11 straight wins. You win the Big East, 4 straight wins in 4 days, and you win the 5 straight wins in 5 days. You win the NCAA tournament, 6 wins as a 3 seed. You shocked the world as the 3 seed. This was a team that was not supposed to be great. And then Kemba was the best player in the country. You have the game winner against Pitt. You have clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. You beat San Diego State and Kawhi Leonard. You beat Kentucky in the championship. No, you beat Butler. My bad. You beat Butler in the championship game. You beat Kentucky in the Final Four. Just exceptional player, and a guy that I loved using in NBA 2K. I played 1 year with the Hornets that he won like 6 straight MVPs. I had the 84 draft class, and I tanked the first year. Like, I think Kemba got hurt or something. I just tanked the first year. I traded everyone else away. I got a bunch of first-round picks. So I had Hakeem, I had Michael Jordan, I had Charles Barkley. I had the whole squad, right, from the 1984 NBA draft. And we won like 10 straight championships, and Kemba was the MVP like all 10 years. So I may or may not have edited his skills so he could dunk the basketball. But I do have a couple of crazy posters, which is not exactly what 6'1", 200-pound Kemba Walker was known for. Not even 200 pounds, probably like 180. But just an absolute, the heart of a lion. And when people say guard play wins championships, at least in college, this is what they mean. Number 15, Cardiac Kemba. That's my top 10.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to pick Kemba or predict you to have Kemba Walker in your top 10 as your number 1, but that is your opinion. So, All right, time to dive in.
All right.
My top 10 favorite athletes, a totally biased and reasonable top 10 list. If that sentence doesn't make any sense, I don't care. That's just how it is. All right, number 10, LeBron James.
Hey, we actually have a similar guy.
We do, yeah. You were saying that you weren't sure if we were going to have the same guy on our list, but lo and behold, the GOAT, LeBron James. Yes. It's been very, very fun watching him as a Laker. I think I don't know if reinvigorating is the right term to use right now, considering the Lakers are kind of mid, but they've been. I will say there hasn't really been a dull moment while LeBron's playing. He's always, you never know when he's going to do something electric. Like, you kind of just expect it out of him every single time. And he did bring a championship in 2020, so there's that. So LeBron James doing his thing for the Lakers.
That is such a nice picture too.
You love to see it. Number 9, Shohei Ohtani. We're on 50-50 watch. That's why I might seem a little distracted when recording this, but we are on 50-50 watch. So I think he would have been a little bit higher too, but he's only been on the team for this season. But I've always been pretty aware of what Shohei's been capable of, and he is just like LeBron James kind of. He's like the most electric player in the sport. You never know what he's going to do. Even as a player this year that is recovering from Tommy John, because he's going to pitch next year. Maybe this year too, actually, which I don't know. That might be a bit soon.
Given the Dodgers playoff history, I would not try it.
Yeah, I wouldn't really try it either, to be honest. But that's a discussion for another time. The bottom line is, even while rehabbing from Tommy John, Shohei is still putting up one of the greatest hitting seasons ever, on the verge of 50-50. So yeah, he's incredible to watch. I can't wait. I almost forget that he's a pitcher. It's crazy how good he's playing as just a hitter. So gonna be fun to watch him in full two-way player form.
He's on my hate list right now because he lost me money, but
well, that's your problem.
I own an Ohtani jersey, by the way. It's at home, else I would have burned it. But yeah, I do.
Okay,
it's a Japan jersey though.
Okay, probably the most fitting one on my list, number 8, Kobe Bryant. What can't you say? This man basically did just about everything for basketball. I watched him win those titles. Recently, he was on the back-to-back titles, right? Recently,
yeah, 09
the
and
Lakers.
10.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the last time I've seen any of my teams win back-to-back. So, and yeah, everything that Kobe did for the sport was just, I can't think of the word, like he transcends the sport that he plays in. So, yeah, it was really fun to see him play, and I'm sad that he's no longer here to watch the team now, because he would have been. I miss seeing him at Dodger Stadium too, or other LA sports too, and he would show up and he would freak out.
Yeah, a great.
Except the Rams, because he's an Eagles fan, but
yeah,
but yeah,
great ambassador for the game.
Very great ambassador for the game. Number 7, Clayton Kershaw. Quite simply put, the greatest Dodgers pitcher ever. I don't really know if you can make an argument for anyone else. I mean, this guy, he threw the no-hitter in 2014. 2020, he pitched 2 games in a winning World Series. He, I don't even know if how many Cy Youngs the dude has, but he's just been
3.
Yeah, 3 Cy Youngs. It was
MVP.
So satisfying to see him finally get his ring too, especially after all the talk that was thrown around him when the Astros cheated a few years back, and everyone was thinking, this guy is washed, or he's a choker in October. And this was the year where he kind of finally broke the allegations. Like he pitched. The fact that he pitched games in the World Series and the Dodgers won in the World Series. I'm pretty sure they won both those games that he pitched in. I could be wrong, but I think he did. And yeah, it was like the final, like, that was what he needed to be, like, to cement himself as the greatest pitcher for the team, and he did it. And I think there's just not a whole lot more you can say.
And the Dodgers are not lacking in the historic pitching department. You have Koufax, you have Drysdale, you have Newcomb, you have Hershiser, Valenzuela. That Clayton Kershaw stands above.
Yeah, the fact that I've been able to witness him in my lifetime is just incredible.
In all likelihood, the best Dodger ever. Not even pitcher, no, like,
possibly. Yeah, I think you have a legitimate argument there. Yeah,
like I mean, maybe Jackie Robinson was better, but he didn't play as long as Kershaw has.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go on to number 6. And this is my favorite hockey goalie of all time. Still playing, but not for the Kings anymore. Jonathan Quick. The 2012 LA Kings playoff run was the second. It's a tie, I believe, for the second most lopsided Stanley Cup playoff run ever. The Kings went 16-4. They went up 3-0 in every single series they played in. And a big reason why was that man right there. Jonathan Quick, just a monster between the pipes. He was stealing this team games all year. He had 10 shutouts too. I think that's a franchise record for the most by a goalie for the Kings in a single season. And so, yeah, I mean, this guy was just, sometimes you need your goalie to really, like, get hot and keep you in all these tough games in the playoffs, because the Stanley Cup playoffs are such a grind. I don't know any other sport that has like that big of a grind, like the hockey, like what happens in hockey in the NHL. And sometimes you need your goalie to just completely steal games, and that's what Jonathan Quick did. He's currently playing for his childhood team is in the New York Rangers. Sadly, I'm a little disgusted by the fact that he won a cup with Vegas, but it is a Stanley Cup, so Jonathan Quick is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. But yeah, that 2012 run where he won the Conn Smythe, just absolutely incredible. Like, I can't name another goalie who I've enjoyed watching play for the Kings ever. Like, he is that good. Also, I believe he won a couple silver medals at the Olympics. So
yes, go Team USA.
Number 5, Luc Robitaille. I put him in my top 5 simply because he was my favorite Kings player growing up. He currently serves as the Kings president of hockey operations, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed watching Luka Robitaille play. I don't have all the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure you can consider him like one of the better players in team history. I mean, we did retire his number 20 too, so that helps. Number 20, not number 22. I said that sounds a little bit weird, but yeah. Yeah, Luke has always been a key piece in the Kings, and when I was first exposed to hockey at a very young age, Luke was my favorite player. So number 4, Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl champion Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year Cooper Kupp. I don't know what else there is to say about this guy. I mean, he's just been insane since he's always been, I was about to say insane since 2021. He's always been one of the Rams' better receivers that they've had in recent years. But you and I we've talked about him in the years prior. And we sort of kind of shared the opinion that when he was with Robert Woods, I think they were together more of a top 10 duo, but Kupp never really stood on his own. And then as soon as Stafford comes in, that all changes. Like, this dude gets totally unlocked, and we see how he's just excelling in every single part of the game. He's blocking well. He's running routes like crazy. His football IQ is through the roof. He almost threw a few touchdowns too. Like, he can throw the ball if we in an emergency situation, probably if we need him to. I think he actually is the Rams' emergency quarterback. But yeah, what he did during 2021 as well is like, that's never going to go away from my brain. This dude was just insane on another level. And
historic.
Yeah. He won the Triple Crown that year for most receptions, most receiving yards, and most touchdowns, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you cap it off with the Super Bowl run, and it's 4 dominant games. He wins Super Bowl MVP. It's the greatest season ever by a wide receiver. It's as simple as that. The other Triple Crown seasons, you have 05 Steve Smith, for example. The Panthers didn't win the Super Bowl that year. Kupp was not only a reason why he was the MVP in that game, and he was their best, well, Aaron Donald existed, but he was their best offensive player the entire year for a Super Bowl winning team.
Well, Splash, it's funny that you mentioned Aaron Donald, because number 3,
I'm surprised he's not number 1, frankly.
I have some reasons why he's not number 1, but Aaron Donald is just, I mean, he's the best defensive player of all time, in my opinion. I'm sure you might have an argument, but nobody dominated and wrecked games the way he does. He did.
Oh, I have my opinions. They will be coming when we talk about the Rams in a minute.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think we could use this guy right now, if I'm being honest. But, yeah. I was reading online earlier, Kyle Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers, was talking about how he doesn't know how to plan for this Rams game, because he would spend like so much time, so much of the team's brain power planning for this guy, and they still couldn't figure him out. This is a guy who gets double teamed, triple teamed. You don't dare one-on-one Aaron Donald. If you do, it's over. You're losing that rep every time. I mean, the way he just wrecks games and takes over games and throws other teams off their plan, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd what he could do. As like, he's not the biggest guy. I mean, he's a big guy, but he was never the tallest guy. Interior defensive lineman. You wouldn't be able to think he's that fast. He's getting all those sacks. He finished with, I think, 111 career sacks in 10 seasons played.
Mm-hmm. Just silly from the interior.
Yeah. Like, this guy was a living cheat code. And of course, he trains with knives. Had to get that reference in there.
Absolutely.
Number 2, we've got Drew Doughty. And as you can see by the picture, this is a guy I've met. So I kind of felt necessary to put him high up on the list. That's his stick, by the way, in my background. I don't know. You can't see the signature on it because the camera's kind of cropped. But once we get our cameras back to full, you'll see the signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
He best defenseman to ever play for the Kings. He won a Norris Trophy, I think, in 2016, 2017. I think 2016. Yeah, just loved watching his game. Loved his on-ice role, his leadership. This is a guy who is constantly like either at the top or near the top of the NHL time on ice list, like every year. The work that this guy puts in is just absurd, and he's always been my favorite defenseman for the Kings, and a guy I got to meet, so that's why he's pretty high up on the list. And so yeah, you can see right there him giving me his stick that he scored with. So
I think the only The only athlete I've met and like talked to and like shaken hands with was Robert Alford. But that was actually before the Super Bowl. I did talk to Trent Williams and a couple other players at the Super Bowl week, but I didn't like that wasn't
like talking or meeting.
Yeah, it was just like asking them a question. I didn't like say, "Hi, I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you," or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Next slide. We've got our honorable mentions. I am a racing fan, so I got some racing names in there as well because I know I didn't put them in the list because I think some people kind of it's a controversial opinion, unfortunately, as to whether or not some people think that these guys are athletes. They absolutely are athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make that really clear right now. It takes a lot of work to do what they do, and like those cars aren't very light. They've got to like really. There's like a lot of weight, a lot of like G-force and stuff when you're like driving around and like.
I will say I'm surprised no Gurley, no Stafford for you.
Yeah, I wanted to put them on the list too. I probably should have put Gurley in my top 10. That one was one I was going back and forth with. A couple of LA Galaxy guys on there as well. And yeah, I probably could have put Gurley or Stafford.
We both have Zlatan in our honorable mentions.
Yes, Zlatan. I will never forget Zlatan's goal against LAFC. Oh my goodness.
Well, obviously, he has the greatest goal of all time, his overhead kick against England.
Yeah, that too. So,
also Mookie Betts will be making an appearance on the next instance of our top 10. I will not reveal the topic of that top 10, but he will be on that top 10 in the top 3.
I can't wait. All right, you ready for number 1?
Is it Deebo Samuel?
Close. Nick Scott is my number 1 for that hit that he laid on. And I'm totally kidding. It's a joke. I had to get that in there. I was like, I can't stop myself from putting that in there.
I almost pulled it out. That was crazy.
Number 1 is Anze Kopitar,
Okay.
Greatest LA Kings player of all time. The Kings are like a huge part of my life. Like if I had to name my top 10 sports teams, I don't even know if I have 10. The Kings were like my team when I was like little. Mm-hmm. It's not like I didn't like other sports. It's just like hockey and the Kings was like so like a big part of my life, and Anze Kopitar was on the Kings pretty much the whole time I've watched them play. So, and the stuff that he played, he's a fantastic human being as well. Like a lot of people will talk about how great of an ambassador he is for the game, but also like how just genuine of a guy he is. Like he constantly is in the discussion for the Lady Byng Trophy, I think it is, for like the most sportsmanlike player. So, and like that alone is like already huge, like a big part of it. But then what he does on the ice, his ability with the puck, he has, I think, 1,000 points, over 1,000 points in the league. So he's just, I genuinely believe he's the greatest Kings player ever. And no offense to Wayne Gretzky, I know a lot of people would say Wayne Gretzky's up on this list too, but Anze Kopitar's my guy. Anze Kopitar has been. His picture's on my other wall too. It's not visible. I probably should.
I do.
It would be nice.
Think there's a story in SI Kids about him. Like, what was his pregame meal? And it was pasta. And I'm like, okay, Anze Kopitar, I like you. I didn't
Makes
like
sense.
The Kings, but he like eats pasta before the game, and I thought that was cool. Like, I would want to eat pasta before a game. Like I don't know, spaghetti carbonara, whatever he had.
I didn't see it. Yeah. I don't remember it, but it would be nice if he ate pasta when he won the Stanley Cup out of the cup, because people like to eat out of the Stanley Cup.
Yes, Alex Ovechkin.
Anyway, that's my top 10.
Beautiful. That was great. That was a great segment.
Love it.
Now on to a very depressing segment for both of us.
I can't wait.
I think it's going to be depressing for you. It is going to be depressing for me. Week 2 in the NFL season was a very weird week. In the pre-show, I said it was very week 1 like, and week 1 was very like week 8. So lots of upsets, lots of weird results. We're going to get into it. Hopefully Jack can pull up his screen here.
Yeah, I've got it right now. Here we go.
But here we are. This is last week's rankings. Kansas City up top, Carolina in the doldrums, all the way at the bottom. Pittsburgh right in the middle. Teams ahead of Pittsburgh, teams below Pittsburgh. We have some changes. 3 of the top 4 teams, actually, in fact, 5 of the top 6 teams lost, which is just great.
Yeah.
Number 31, they did beat number 31, but number 30 did win the game without scoring a touchdown. I will talk about that a lot more than you might think because it's Commanders Giants. The Raiders won, the Falcons won, the Cardinals won, the Chargers won. The Dolphins lost their quarterback. The Rams lost everyone. The Bengals once again found a way to lose. The Packers inexplicably beat the Colts even with Malik Willis. So we have a lot to get into. Jack, what is your biggest takeaway from the week while you're moving the teams down?
Yeah, while I'm moving the teams down to the bottom, I guess it's you just never know what to expect from the NFL. Like that's just how it is. Like this league will catch you by surprise even when you least expect it. So I'm in tears.
I knew you would not put the Chargers that high.
No, I would not.
It must have been a misclick.
Yeah, I mean, although who knows? Like they're 2-0. They look decent. They look better than I've seen them in a while.
Well, I would say it's the Raiders, but we know how that went. It is the Panthers, though. They have a nice game against Pittsburgh coming up.
I mean, that's just my biggest takeaway is like you really never know what to expect. And outside of watching the Rams get hurt left and right, I've enjoyed most of the games this season. I thought the Monday night game this week was really fun.
That's very exciting. Yeah, All right, do we want to start Thursday night or do we want to start left or right with Baltimore?
Let's just go left to right because the teams are basically ordered by tier still. So.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have the Baltimore conversation. Lamar Jackson. This is about Lamar Jackson. Lamar played reasonably well. I gave him a B. I would give him a B for the game. He didn't make any errors. His interception was off the hands of Bateman. Just a great play by the defense. The problem is he didn't make any great plays. There was not a moment in the game that's like, that was a great play by Lamar. There was a sequence before the half he was really good and a sequence coming out of the half that he was really good. He's always been really good in those 2-minute situations, especially in the first half. You go down and score, then you come back and score to open the second half, the Belichick shtick. And then in the second half, he leads the touchdown drive, hits Flowers for the touchdown. He was really excellent for that sequence. There wasn't like a standout play. But Lamar, I am going to start holding you to a higher standard. I've backed you as a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, consistently a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, near unanimously since 2019. And I have had some copium. I would put you in this group and then make excuses. Well, when you're in that group of quarterbacks with Mahomes, behind Mahomes, but with Allen and with Burrow, and now CJ Stroud is in this conversation, we can have a quarterback list another time. When you are a top 5 quarterback, or in my opinion, the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL, with the argument to be number 2, you need to be held to a higher standard. And when you play the Raiders, you need to play your A game. So B games are great. It's not acceptable. You have to play better. He was good. He was fine. He was perfectly fine. No errors, but he didn't have any great plays. He just kind of went through the motions. In theory, he's a top 20 player in the NFL. He didn't play like a top 20 player in the NFL. Max Crosby did. Devontae Adams did. That's why the Raiders won. The Ravens did not win because their top 20 guys, in theory, Roquan Smith, did not play well. Lamar was fine. He's just fine. So I think the Ravens are in playoff contenders, but their next 3 games are Dallas, Buffalo, and Cincinnati. They could be staring at 0-5 heading back home to face Washington in week 6. They could seriously be 0-5. So they're in the playoff contenders group, but oh boy.
I'm going to trust your judgment on that. So.
It could get ugly real fast. The offensive line stinks. Daniel Falele, not good at football. Sorry. Patrick McCarry deserves to be a swing player, not a starter. If he's your 6th offensive lineman, you're in a great spot. If he's your 5th offensive lineman, you should just rebrand your franchise. Defense has not played particularly well. They've been fine. I thought the coverage unit was pretty good against the Raiders. They just started making like Brandon Lloyd catches. They did leave Adams wide open on one play, but he dropped it. But other than that one particular play, they were generally pretty good. Derrick Henry, fine. Zay Flowers, good. But this is a quintessential playoff contender that could start 0-5 because their schedule is brutal. They are playing a first place schedule. It is no joke. And if you're 0-5, you are not making the playoffs. Like you would have to go on like a 10-2 run at probably minimum to make the playoffs after that. So you got to take 1 week at a time, but you have to beat Dallas this week. And then you can split with Cincinnati and Buffalo and you're 2-3 and you're probably okay. But You got to win this week. I would throw the Raiders and regular season Warriors. They are one heck of a team. They are really well coached. The talent is not quite other teams. Like Gardner Minshew is a 20s group quarterback, and you're going to be limited when you have a 20s group quarterback.
I feel like another win, and maybe you start looking at them being playoff hopefuls. I will say, for as low as I was on the Raiders going into this year, there definitely was a reason why most of these players wanted Antonio Pierce to stick around as their permanent head coach.
He's a great coach.
Yeah.
They are sort of occupy what Mike Tomlin does in Pittsburgh now, that they don't have superior talent, but they have superior like will to win, I guess.
Yeah. When you have a coach like that who you would run through a brick wall for.
Like, yeah, the Ravens and Cowboys have superior talent, but underperform given the talent. The Raiders, I think, can overperform given the talent, but you also have two of the best 15 players in football with Crosby and Devontae Adams. Like that helps, and having superstars play like superstars consistently helps. You have Christian Wilkins on the interior as well. Your offensive line is in theory halfway decent. I don't trust the running backs. I don't trust the quarterbacks. Brock Bowers, menace to society. He is awesome. He's probably a top 10 tight end already, but I think they're a regular season Warrior team. I don't want to see them on the schedule again. They kind of own Baltimore at the moment, but like that's a perfectly adequate team. Yeah. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be particularly close to making the playoffs, but they're
going to take a step forward this year.
Yeah, they could sweep Denver. They could take the other game against LA. I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs, but that gives you 3 wins. You just beat Baltimore. So yeah, 6, 7, 8 wins. Could see it.
Okay. What was next?
Kansas City, boys and girls, they're number 1 because everyone behind them lost. And they won. Mahomes was not good. Just, I don't want to say garbage. I don't want to say bad. He just fundamentally played a rough game of football, and they still won.
And that's my point. That's our whole point that I've been making, at least, about the Kansas City Chiefs, is that Mahomes doesn't always have to play like the number 1 quarterback in the world. They are a team that will find a way to win tough games no matter what. So.
Yep. Chris Jones, unblockable per usual. They have a great defense. People don't give them enough credit. I would rank if I'm doing like power rankings, I would rank the defense higher than the offense right now. Pacheco's out. Mahomes didn't play that well.
That is going to hurt a little bit.
Travis Kelce is washed. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say those 4 words together. And before you come at me, Chiefs fans, Justin Tucker is also washed. So don't think I'm just crapping on your team. The 4 words, Travis Kelce is washed. He's still going to make critical catches on 3rd down in the playoffs. It's going to be against Cincinnati or Baltimore or Cleveland or Pittsburgh or whoever, but it's going to happen. They're going to win the Super Bowl again. He's going to go for 10 for 200 and 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, but he is washed. He is on my fantasy team. He is washed. He is not the best tight end in football anymore. It's not Isaiah Likely, like I said it was last week. It might be Brock Bowers. I don't know. The tight ends kind of stink as of right now, but it's not Travis Kelce.
Yeah, definitely.
That defense,
really
gnarly. Steve Spagnuolo has the best job in football. Like he's basically guaranteed to win a Super Bowl, guaranteed to make deep playoff runs every single season. Has a awesome, like a 50-50 shot at a Super Bowl every year, and basically infinite job security because he's not going to be a head coach again. But the Chiefs would never fire him. He's won 3 Super Bowls. So they play the Cincinnati Bengals. I would just throw the Bengals at the bottom of playoff contenders.
Yeah, the Bengals are that weird kind of team where it's just like they probably shouldn't be 0-2. I mean, they definitely shouldn't be 0-2 because
they played the Patriots week 1.
Yeah, but yeah, the pieces are still there. It's just a matter of like it's not clicking right now in Cincinnati, but they always get off to a slow start every year. So
my take with Cincinnati, they should have traded T. Higgins over the offseason. I don't know if the general public is aware of Andre Yoshivas. He is a stud. He would be a good wide receiver 3 at bare minimum on a lot of teams. And I think he has real potential to be a wide receiver 2 for a lot of good teams. And there's a lot of good wide receivers nowadays. And they got Jermaine Burton, I think out of Florida. My draft stuff wasn't polished this year, but I think he's out of Florida. But rookie, he's also good. He's a wide receiver 3. Trade T. Higgins. You don't have to spend $25 million on another wide receiver. You're going to have to pay Chase like 40, which that was a whole ordeal in the offseason and heading into the season. So I have concerns with the Bengals. I don't think they can stop the run. I don't think they are a Super Bowl team right now. Maybe if they figure out how to stop the run, maybe if they just, plant someone, like they plant a tree in the middle of the field and you can't run in that spot, maybe that's how they win the game.
They need the
or how they
slime
stop the
monster
run.
from Nickelodeon.
Yes, but like if you are a good team or you can run the football, you should beat the Bengals, or you have a reasonable shot of beating the Bengals. You saw what New England did. I give Baltimore a reasonable shot if they can figure out some offensive line stuff because they can run the ball. The Chiefs were running the ball with Pacheco until Pacheco got hurt, but I don't know. I have my concerns with Cincinnati. I think they're a very high upside team, but they also could be a team that loses and like allows 250 rushing yards, like the Colts did. Speaking of losing, San Francisco. I'm sure you were excited to see this game.
Nicely done, San Francisco. You guys cannot win in Minnesota for shit still. So we just got demonetized.
Yeah.
Let's not
bottom of the Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, we're not gonna mince words. They are still a Super Bowl contender, but not looking like that. Playing like that was. I don't know if I've seen another quarterback like I have with Brock Purdy, where you lose one target and all of a sudden it just looks like a completely different game. And it's not like
you
he's
watch
missing...
Jared Goff for a living, my friend.
Oh, I did, but Goff had his own problems. So
Mahomes had an interception, like just right to a linebacker, and I said in every group chat I was in, "Hello, Jared Goff," or "Hello, Jimmy Garoppolo."
It's funny because it's funny because if you remember the 2018 Rams Chiefs game, the Monday night game, Patrick Mahomes threw a pick six to a linebacker.
Was it Ebicam or did he?
Yeah, it was Ebicam. Ebicam got a pick six. He got a scoop and score, and I think he got a pick six.
What a game! We're not going to rewatch that one because we're going to get demonetized again.
I don't want to get. I really want to find a way where we can relive that game without getting demonetized. So
oh man,
we'll look into it.
Niners, just a weird game.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota is. So
it's
you
like
lose
the
Kittle
Colts
during the game.
It's like the
McCaffrey's out.
Jacksonville.
So I don't know what the sound is in my background, but that is something. Anyways, San Francisco is fine. I still think they're the best team in the NFC, but it's just you're gonna lose some games. I don't think too much of it.
We'll see. They played against Minnesota.
Playoff hopeful, I guess.
I'm actually
Sam Darnold.
I'm gonna
hello
Minnesota playoff hopeful. I Sam Darnold. I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game. Holy cow! This
Aaron
guy
Jones is also washed, unfortunately. But that's okay because Ty Chandler is top 10 running back, I guess. So Justin Jefferson. I want to talk about the Justin Jefferson play. I'm not going to talk about Jefferson. I'm not going to talk about the Niners. I'm going to talk about the friggin' ref. Oh my goodness, this ref the Ravens need to sign this ref to bring some explosiveness to the passing game. What an athlete. Referees, underrated athletes. He had to run, he has to get in front of the play in case there's a tackle on the goal line so he can say it's short or it's a touchdown or whatever. And he's faster than Justin Jefferson getting to the goal line.
This ref, who is he? Seriously, we need to look into that.
Is he
we need to see
the freeze?
Is he the freeze? He could be the freeze.
He might be.
Bolt. We've never seen them in the same room.
Just absurd athleticism. It's like the cameramen at Olympic events that are running faster than the sprinters to get the photo finish. Just absolutely legendary stuff from the ref. I don't want to sell the Vikings short. Sam Darnold has played really well so far. Kevin O'Connell has him rocking and rolling. The defense, the pieces, I think, are there to be a good, competent defense. And it's good to see. The NFC North is wide open right now. Jordan Love is out. The Lions just played a really weird game. We're going to talk about that momentarily. The Bears are the Bears, frankly. They have you can add a new quarterback in, but they are still the same Bears. So good job, Minnesota. You're 2-0.
Congratulations. You're so far doing better than I thought you would. I'll put it that way. Detroit. Still a contender, question mark?
Yeah, if we had a tier between Super Bowl contenders and playoff contenders, I think they're there. They're better than Baltimore, worse than San Francisco. I don't have too strong of a feeling one way or the other, whether they're in the red or in the orange. They're still a good team. They can still assert their will.
I'm gonna put them bottom of Super Bowl contenders
that's
just because
fine.
I don't think it's fair to knock them off after just one loss because things happen, like you
Yeah.
say, and
They
there's
need to
always
figure
games
out
here and there,
defending
but-
slot receivers because, listen, Chris Godwin is really good. There are better receivers than Chris Godwin. Cooper Kupp is really good. There are better receivers than Cooper Kupp. When Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin are the only options for the other team's passing offense, and they are still slicing and dicing you, you got to figure it out. So this Lions defense is a problem. Jared Goff outdoors, I guess, seems to be a problem. And the whole aggressiveness bit, then I will defend the aggressiveness to the day I die. I did it with John Harbaugh. I did it with the stupid 2-point conversions. I do it with fourth downs. But it does leave the back door open when they fail. When you fail these fourth downs, when you don't kick, when you have a good kicker and you don't kick, you're outdoor, you're in Tampa. It's a good place to kick. And you're not kicking field goals. You're going for it on fourth. You're going for it on 2-point conversions. You're going for these wins. There is an element of luck to those. And when the luck isn't going your way, you have some problems. So I think the Lions are generally good enough for it not to matter if they're lucky or unlucky, because they're just going to win the game. Like against the Rams, you just punch it in and score in overtime. You don't have to worry about going for it on fourth down, do or die to win the game or lose the game. But Detroit, I have some concerns, but we're proceeding.
Very much so.
And heading into Tampa, I have a question for you. Is Baker Mayfield a top 10 quarterback?
I think so.
He might be. I don't think so. I think he's in that 11 to 15 range.
He's in like that
balling
gray
out
area right below that. But absolute props to Baker Mayfield. What I've seen out of him too, like the way this guy, I keep bringing it up, but the way he like resurrected his career with half a season in LA, and then he went to Tampa Bay to replace Tom Brady of all people, and he has weapons. He has Godwin. He has Mike Evans. I mean, this team looks very, very. They look like a very well-rounded football team, I'd say. Maybe there are some holes here and there. Obviously, that's just they're
Rashad
not
White
perfect,
had an injury scare. If White's out, you have Bucky Irvin. So I don't know exactly. Granted, they haven't been much of a rushing team in recent years, anyways. But I have my concerns. I don't think they could be Super Bowl contenders this year, but I think they're squarely in playoff contenders. I put them ahead of Cincinnati right now because they can actually defend the run, and you could argue they're ahead of Baltimore because they can actually block someone.
Must be nice to have blockers.
I don't know. Eagles fly. Nick Sirianni, we need to have a serious conversation, buddy.
We need to have a serious conversation with Saquon Barkley first.
Actually, I don't have a problem with that. I fundamentally have a problem with throwing the football there.
Yeah, that's completely fair too. I get that, but man, if you just he still should have caught that football.
Yeah, that was a great throw by Hurts. You see the Manning cast to that?
I did.
Peyton's losing his mind.
Oh wait, I think I did. I think he stood up and like almost walked away when that happened.
He's like losing. And Matt Ryan's in the booth too. It's like
I actually need to complain about this game for a little bit.
Oh boy.
Because this was the week where Alvin Kamara for the Saints put up 44 points for me in a PPR league, and I lost because the Eagles threw an interception to lose the game. If Jake Elliott would have kicked one more field goal, I would have won the game. I lost by under a point because Elliott didn't get the last kick.
Oh, good.
He got the field goal to take the lead or whatever to end the possession, and then if the Eagles would have gotten in the field goal range and he would have kicked the field goal, then I would have won the match. But Saquon didn't catch the ball and things got messed up. So
dang,
I'm blaming Saquon.
All right, Nick Sirianni, let's have a conversation. If my math is correct, you are 3-7 since you dropped some profanity leaving Arrowhead Stadium when you beat the Chiefs. 3-7. You collapsed last year to blow the division, and your week 2 game this year did not go particularly well. Your week 1 game was okay. You probably could have lost if Jordan Love doesn't get injured on the final drive, but that's neither here nor there. Week 2, you answer me this. Why are you running the ball, or why are you throwing the ball on 3rd and 3? The Falcons are out of timeouts. You have 1:30 left. Me thinks with this Eagles offensive line that every year we say top 5. Every year we say top 3. Every year we might say number 1, depending on the year, depending on if the Browns are doing the Browns thing, or depending on how many guys are around with Trent Williams, whatever. Minnesota, good offensive line too. You have that offensive line. You have Saquon Barkley. You have Jalen Hurts.
You have an O-line that is known consistently for pulling off one of the most controversial yet automatic plays of all time. If it gets to 4th and short.
Why don't you just run the tush push twice? Like bleed as much clock as possible and run the ball twice. Because here's the math on this. I'm going to break it down very simply for you. Because I will point out, if Saquon catches the ball, the game is over. Correct. You can also run the ball, and even if he doesn't get the conversion, you bleed off 40 seconds, and you can kick the field goal. Or, better yet, you go for it. And with 50 seconds on the clock, if you convert, you win the game. If you don't convert, the other team has to go 90 yards as opposed to giving them a chance on a kickoff. So the math here, you are deciding between worst case scenario. So your worst case scenario is you fail the 4th down conversion. You give the Falcons the ball. Like, you have to go 90 yards. They have to go 90 yards. But they only need to kick a field goal. Guess what? There leaves a chance that you go to overtime because they don't have to go balls to the wall to score a touchdown. They can just play for a field goal, right? So you have a chance in overtime. When you go up by 6, yes, they have to go score a touchdown, but the Falcons also know they have to go score a touchdown. This is like a game theory sort of thing that you are prompting them to play more aggressively. And this is why there's like a rubber banding effect, to use a video game term. There's a rubber banding effect in sports, because when you take a lead, the other team has to be more aggressive and your team plays more conservatively. So you're the Eagles and your dumb defensive coordinator is going to play more prevent defense. He's going to give, you can pick up the yards underneath. We don't care. We're just not going to let you beat us over the top. Well, teams nowadays are really good at beating you underneath and getting a chunk play here and miss a tackle here and miss a tackle there, and you're going to go down and score.
Prevent defense prevents wins.
Yes. Okay. I was watching Fox News, and one of the people on the 5 mentioned that one of the political candidates was playing prevent defense, and that prevent defense prevents you from winning the game. When Fox News is telling you this, there might be something to it.
When they're making a political reference, or they're making a football reference to make a political analogy, it's that bad.
It was probably the smartest thing any of them said the entire episode.
If teams can, but it makes sense though, because if defenses are like so focused on preventing the big play, teams can just run the ball like further down the field. They can like throw a check down and make progress that way, and they'll eat huge chunks of yards doing that because so many defensive backs are all the way upfield, and then there's all those receivers to block.
Yeah, like I do actually. I forgot to mention this with the Ravens game. The end of the game, they had a big Lamar run. So in a Hail Mary situation, they just opted to have Lamar run 40 yards and then start the hook and ladder game. Lamar is probably the only quarterback you can really get away with doing that, because maybe Kyler, maybe there's Jaden Daniels. I obviously don't want to be in this situation, needing a Hail Mary to win a football game or to tie a football game. But that could be the new meta, having a mobile quarterback run around, and you gain, in theory, like quarterback draw. They're only rushing 3. Your other guys are 40 yards down. You gain 40 yards. You don't have to throw a pass. No one has to worry about dropping a pass or anything. I don't know. And then you have a better designed hook and ladder because Lamar threw it to the wrong side of the field, I think. But regardless, Eagles playoff contenders. I don't know. I think if they played Baltimore would be favored. If they played Tampa,
I don't know. They beat Tampa. I think they would beat Cincy right now.
I'd take them over Cincy. I don't know.
Okay, let's lightning round for a little bit here.
Okay. They played the Falcons. The Falcons at bottom of the playoff hopeful tier. I think Kirk looked better. Kirk, showed his kahunas. Drake London, Bijan. The defense, I like the defense. I always like the defense, but they have red sleeves, and they have Bates, and they have Justin Simmons, and they have a talented DC, and I like what they're building defensively. Offensively, they have a load of talent, but the offensive line hasn't played particularly well. But that's a story for another time. Dallas.
It's another story about a coach, I think, that you would run through a wall for. Like Raheem Morris, the way they celebrated with him after he got his first win as their coach was fun to watch. I kind of miss the guy.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dallas. What was that?
whatever tier Dallas was on last week, I'm comfortable knocking them down because
Okay. They are better than the playoff hopefuls, but we are going to put them in playoff hopefuls for the bit.
yeah.
They
I don't
cannot
know
defend
what
the
that
run.
was.
They simply cannot defend the run.
When you let Alvin Kamara run wild on you like that, oh my god.
Eric McCoy, the Saints center, and one of their guards, like 95 PFF grades. Their interior defensive line. I think the stat was there are 4 players on the interior that have played like X number of snaps that have a 30 or below grade. 3 of them are Cowboys. If the Ravens don't run the ball 50 times next week, I'm going to throw a fit. I'm going to throw the TV out the window. I might do that on stream. That could get us some views. Dallas, what are we doing? Listen, Dak, great. CeeDee Lamb, great. Offensive line, great. Zeke, also washed. Joined the club with Kelsey and Justin Tucker. Just the defense, man. I know you have Parsons and you have Diggs, and like the secondary is nice, but you cannot stop the run. Teams are just going to run all over you. This is Cincinnati South. And they play the Saints. Move the Saints ahead of the Cowboys. The Saints are balling out. They've scored 40 points in 3 straight games.
They are 15 for 15 on scoring points on drives this season with Derek Carr as quarterback.
Nice.
15 for 15.
You could honestly move them higher. I would not be opposed to that. Defense is playing really well. Derek Carr is dialed in.
I'm going to leave them there for now just because.
Sure.
I don't know, though. I was going to say I want to see a little bit more questions answered, but honestly, I
don't know. Would you take them over Cincinnati right now?
Yeah. Right now, over Cincinnati, yes, I would.
Okay, would you take them over Philly? I think they play this week, right?
Probably not.
I picked Philly and pick them this week, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Houston Texans. I'm going to say, welcome to the top tier. Welcome to the Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else there's to say.
You want to put them over Detroit? I don't know.
They're moving up a tier. We didn't move Detroit down a tier, but we moved Houston up a tier.
I trust different things. I trust Detroit's offensive line. I trust Houston's quarterback. I trust Houston's pass defense. I trust Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson, by the way, 4.5 sacks. They lost. First time in 12 years a player had at least 4.5 sacks, and his team lost the game. Cameron Wake for the 2012 Dolphins. Yeah, Houston Detroit would be quite the Super Bowl matchup if it happened.
That would be fun.
So I don't know. I think Houston at 4 is fine, or Houston in that top tier is fine.
I'm just not putting them above Detroit just because they're the ones that moved up a tier. Detroit, we kept them on the same tier, but we moved them down, I think.
Sure.
Buffalo.
We got to go to Chicago first.
Oh yeah, sure, Chicago.
I really like the defense. I really do. I don't think Caleb has it yet, and part of that's the offensive line's fault. They're sort of like they're the 2018 Ravens in a lot of ways, but I'm gonna put them behind Atlanta. Playoff hopeful, I think, is fair because that defense is still really, really good.
If you have a good enough defense, you can maybe do something. So I think that there's reason to have optimism.
They were missing 2 of their receivers. They had a couple weird plays in there as well that were like overturned interceptions. But I don't know. That defense is stout. That defense is good. They were, as soon as they got Montez Sweat last year, they were a top 10 defense. So I think they've continued a lot of that from this season. Buffalo. Do we want to throw them in the Super Bowl contenders? I don't think so.
I think they're a playoff contender. Still.
Yeah, I would put them ahead of Baltimore.
Yeah. Like they're kind of, I guess,
like Josh Allen is
gatekeeper is the term that I've used before. Like oh my God, James Cook was cooking.
Yeah. Wow. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one, Jack.
Low hanging fruit right there, but.
Dolphins. Unfortunately, I'm going to give them a big drop this week.
Yeah, me too. When you lose Tua long term,
the Raiders play Carolina. They play the Raiders soon. Without Tua, do you think they are better than the Raiders?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's a tough call. I don't know. Probably not.
I don't want to overreact, but I'm going to overreact with Skylar Thompson. Listen, I know the Packers just won with Malik Willis, which might as well have been winning with me, but I'd put Miami behind Vegas. I think they're going to be a fundamentally unserious football team.
Yeah, and it's just going to suck not seeing Tua in. I think he went to IR, they announced. And
he can't be back until week 8.
Yeah, the frequent concussions are certainly a concern especially for like his long-term health as a person, not just as a player. So it sucks to see that go down, and it really is unfortunate to see what's going to go down if he is out for a bit longer than they want him to be. You have them behind Raiders?
Yeah, behind Vegas.
Okay. Speaking of a team that's going to be missing everybody. Oh my God.
Okay.
Dude.
I guess you're going to talk about the offense. I'm going to talk about the defense. So
I'm talking about the whole team. I'm talking about the whole team from top to bottom. Fundamentally, that was the worst game that Sean McVay has ever coached, that the Rams have ever played under Sean McVay. I firmly believe that. I don't know a single aspect of the game where the Rams looked like they knew what they were doing. They could not tackle anybody. Cam Kinchens, he's a rookie. He's going to learn, but that was one of the most egregious mistakes I've ever seen a guy make, when Kyler Murray's scrambling out of the pocket and like he's just desperation pass to the guy who happens to be right there on the sideline. That might have been one of the easiest interceptions of his career. And he abandons the guy to try to sack Kyler Murray as a cornerback. They're getting some pressure on Kyler. They're getting some pressure through. The problem is they're not finishing any of their tackles. They're not wrapping up the guy. They're constantly like slipping and letting him get loose. I think the only person that I like absolutely love on this defense right now is Jared Verse. And even he's not finishing the tackles. And he literally said too, they just have to execute. All they have to do, if the Rams could finish their tackles in the backfield, if they could stop the run or slow down the run, or if they could get the sacks, they could finish the sacks, this would be a very, very, very good defense. They just have to finish their freaking tackles. They're constantly letting Kyler get loose. It's ridiculous how many times it looks like they have him wrapped up and then they just slip. They don't make the grab. And then I don't even know what I'm looking at with the cornerbacks right now. Granted, I haven't looked at the all-22, so who knows what's going on there, but it was just awful defensively. And then offensively, I'm tempted to blame injuries a little bit. And yes, they certainly are a factor. Yes, they are a problem. But Alaric Jackson is going to come back from suspension next week. So you're going to have 4 of your 5 starting O-linemen back this week against San Francisco. At some point, you just got to play better. You can't blame injuries. You can't blame whatever else is going on there. You just have to play better. You have to give Stafford a clean pocket. Left tackle, I think, has been the weakest position on the O-line. And they just, in fairness, again, injuries, they haven't really had anyone. But at some point for everybody else, you just kind of have to, you have to play better. It's like, they just weren't doing the things that I'm used to watching them do. And then obviously Cooper Kupp gets hurt. Their team is completely thrown off their game plan. They don't have like the receivers to play the roles that they want them to play. And now you're going to miss Puka Nacua. You're going to miss Cooper Kupp for a while now. And I don't even know what names, like there's such a long list of names. You only get during the course of one NFL season, you get 8 designations to return from IR. Everybody else is out for the year. And the Rams had to put 7 people, I think, on IR after week 1. And now, and like, that's the reason why Cooper Kupp didn't go on IR today. Some people will say, oh, this might look like a positive sign because maybe he can come back before 4 weeks. And while that certainly could be a possibility, I think the only reason they're doing it is because there's too many people on IR. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know what else to say. Like, that was just fundamentally terrible football. It felt like when they played against Detroit, they showed some heart in that loss. It was still a loss. It was still a tough overtime loss. I would have liked to see them get the job done there, but at least they went down fighting in a way. This game, they just quit. They went down by 3 touchdowns early and they just quit. That was so frustrating to watch. I couldn't be around anyone. Like, they did not do I can't take a single positive away from that game. And that might be the first time I've ever said that about a game that happened under Sean McVay. And you can blame injuries. I think it's fair to blame injuries to a degree. But at some point, there are some pieces on the field, like I touched on, like the pass rush, or I touched on the O-line. You just have to play better football. At the end of the day, the players, if you're going to rely on the young players and people like that to have to play football for you, you have to play better football. With that being said, I'm going to let you go on your point, and then I have one more point to make, but go ahead.
Sure. My point is 5 letters long and 5 letters and 1 apostrophe long. I'm out. I'm out on the Rams. I am out on the Rams. The defense sucks. They have the worst defense in the NFL, period. It is as simple as that. They have the worst defense in the NFL. They had this stars and scrubs mentality with Aaron Donald, with Jalen Ramsey, with Bobby Wagner, with Von Miller, not Bobby Miller, my bad. A different LA athlete. The stars and scrubs works when you have the stars. Then this year, Aaron Donald retires. You trade Ernest Jones, who, for my money, was the best defensive player on the team. That was the
stupidest trade the Rams made this offseason. That
for
was
a 6th-round pick, too. What?
Yeah,
did he shoot someone?
I don't understand. I really don't understand.
I don't mean to be dramatic, but he probably needed to have shot someone for him to only be worth a 6th-round pick. There has to be some issue with Ernest Jones. He had some defect, because you don't trade a really good linebacker like that for a 6th-round pick. Yes, I know linebackers are diminished in value. He is a particularly valuable linebacker. He's an excellent blitzer. Tennessee,
he was a locker room leader. Aaron Donald told him after he retired. He told Ernest Jones. He said, "This is your defense now." They were players that literally were expecting to lead, or Ernest Jones to lead. There were no issues in training camp. I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
What are you doing? And the offense, listen, I'll just blame it on the injuries. You lose Puka, Kupp's out, your left tackle is out. Fine. But this is the worst defense in the NFL.
They just haven't.
You have to be, if you want to be like an 8-9, 9-18, Matthew Stafford has to be 2011 Drew Brees. It is as simple as that. He has to be an MVP level quarterback to win football games, because it is a bad defense. Not good, not mediocre, it is the worst defense in the NFL. I feel comfortable saying that. There's no talent there's talent, but there's no real NFL established talent on the defense.
Keller Witherspoon's coming back.
That's
something.
It is smoke and mirrors. It is the Aaron Donald defense is great because of Aaron Donald. This is like if you took Lamar Jackson out of the Ravens rushing attack and you had Joe Flacco in there.
The reason why so many players on this defense, so many pass rushers on this defense were able to succeed is because teams didn't know what to do against Aaron Donald. So they tried double teaming him. They tried triple teaming him. And that frees up some of their pass rushers. If the
Greg Gaines of the world,
Greg
Robinsons
Gaines,
of the world,
Kobe Turner last year too.
Leonard Floyds of the world.
Yeah,
they all had
those were
production.
Yeah, but when they were playing alongside Aaron Donald, they were only having to deal with single or double teams because Aaron Donald was constantly getting doubled or tripled, and so teams were like, oh crap, there's this player now that we have to worry about, so they try doubling him, tripling him, and that frees up Aaron Donald to do his thing.
Yeah, and that frees up the linebackers to do their thing, and that frees up the corners and safeties because Aaron Donald's going to be in the backfield in 1.5 seconds, so you don't really have to cover.
You don't have that anymore. You don't have that luxury anymore, and so far. Maybe I like what I see out of Jared Verse, so maybe he could fill that role to a degree. But at the end of the day,
he's not going to be Aaron Donald.
Yeah, he's not going to replace what Aaron Donald did. And I don't know.
I'm out. I'm out. At least with Miami being out was just contingent on Tua. I'm out on the Rams. I don't know where you want to put them. I would put them at the top of the regular season Warriors because they have Matthew Stafford. So you might have. There's a university.
This was the point that I was going to make. Right now, it's completely fair for you to say you're out. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to write a season off after 2 weeks. And the thing that some people have to remember is that while the injuries to the Rams do look like they are devastating, the team has a week 6 bye, which is very early, and none of these injuries have been declared season-ending. They're going to get reinforcements back at some point. So, and obviously, like you said, Stafford is still healthy. Kyren Williams, he's still healthy. Mm-hmm. The O-line, they're going to have 4 of their 5 starters back next week. I don't want to write them off as a whole. And while it does look bad, I agree with you on their defense. There's Ahkello Witherspoon, I think, will add some secondary help, but that's just the secondary. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? But it doesn't look great.
Yeah, my hang up is
my hang up with the defense is that it basically seemed like they were setting up their rookie Omar Speights to step in and be the Ernest Jones replacement. And I love when I saw Omar Sprouts in the preseason. But the thing is, he's not even playing. It's preseason, yes, but they're not even playing him. Okay. He's supposed to be their new guy, and he's not getting any snaps.
Yeah, linebacker, that's a really tough spot to transition.
It is a tough one. And
my hang-up is the defense is just disastrous. So even if you got 99th percentile outcome, I think 100th percentile outcome is off the board because so many injuries, but 99th percentile outcome, Stafford plays like an MVP. You have a player step up and has like a Puka ascended last year. Cooper Kupp ascended in 2021. You can have a receiver pop. That's not unheard of. Nico Collins popped in Houston last year. It's not unheard of. Kyron Williams, really good. He has a good year.
I would love to see them
win 9
using
games,
Blake
but
Corum.
you need a historic offense because your defense is buns.
Yeah, I would love to see them start playing Blake Corum.
And Warriors for me.
Yeah, I agree. All I'll say is Akello Witherspoon won't hurt the defense, but they need somebody to step up in that regard because I do believe that when healthy, they still have the capability to win football games, but they need the defense to step up and just play better. Like that's what it comes down to. The people that are healthy, yes, there are injuries, but the people who are healthy just have to play better. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Arizona, I'm putting them behind Dallas ahead of Minnesota. I think they are a really plucky team defensively, and you have a star quarterback. I don't know about superstar, but you have a star. You have a difference maker at the quarterback position, and that matters. Minnesota does not. Chicago, not yet. Sorry. Atlanta does not. LA does, but the defense sucks. Vegas does not. Miami no longer does. But Kyler was unbelievable, magnificent, fantastic, fabulous. It was a phenomenal game of football. It'll be one of the best 5 quarterback games of the season.
I genuinely can't believe that the NFL, this is my one and only hang up. I can't believe this was just a triple play by the Dodgers, I think.
The Braves did win, by the way. So shout out to the Braves. I think Schwab got the win too.
Marvin Harrison Jr.'s first career touchdown is going to be glorified by the NFL forever, and it wasn't even a touchdown. His feet are. He did do it. It was a nice toe tap, but he is bobbling the ball with his feet. And then by the time he finally catches the ball, his knee is down out of bounds behind the end zone. And for whatever reason, the referees thought that he caught it in bounds. I don't know a single person in my life who knows football who I can show that clip to, and they will say with 100% confidence that is a touchdown.
Yeah, that's weird. Replays are always weird, but yeah. So shout out to Marvin Harrison first.
All I'm gonna say is that when I as a fan can tell in real time live when it happens that it was out of bounds and it wasn't a catch, and then the referees have their slow motion equipment and they look at that replay a million times and they're like, yeah, that's a touchdown. Something's wrong.
I don't know.
Other than that, he played pretty well though. I can't complain.
He was unbelievable.
Oh, I can complain.
Harrison was great. Yeah, Kyler was unbelievable.
That was
from the best quarterback performance of the week to one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my entire life, Malik Willis. I will not disrespect Jordan Love by saying there's a quarterback controversy because there is not. But I will say, with all due respect to Jordan Love, this was a good, not a good thing. It's not good to lose your franchise quarterback. It was a positive development that the Packers showed they could do this. They ran the ball for approximately 5 million yards against the Colts. The Colts had no shot. I was shocked by this, but they had no shot. Josh Jacobs, major props to him, former All-Pro running back, showed out. He'll be the only guy in that backfield with Marshawn Lloyd heading to IR. But yeah, Packers, the defense cooked. They didn't have their quarterback, and they still won. They still played really well. They still moved the ball offensively. Josh Jacobs, man, he's a truck. I think this is a playoff contender tier, and I would not be opposed to having them in the Super Bowl contender tier when Jordan Love comes back.
Jordan Love has returned to practice today, by the way. So
great to see. I guess they have to be behind Philly for practical purposes because they did lose to Philly with Jordan Love. But I'm cool with them being ahead of New Orleans.
Probably would have won that game, honestly. If he doesn't get hurt, I think that.
No, maybe you do because they blew the game the next week in the same situation.
They did. So.
Colts. This is just a weird team. They have to be next to the Bears. I don't know if they're better than the Bears or worse than the Bears. They do play coming up soon, maybe this week.
I think they're better.
I I trust Richardson more than Caleb.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
And I trust the offensive line more than Chicago's. Okay, fair enough. I probably trust Chicago's defense more than Indy's. But yeah, Indy, this is just a bad loss. I know Josh Jacobs is good. I know the Packers are a good team, and 2 through 53, they're very good. But you played against Malik Willis. When you play a quarterback of that caliber, with all due respect to Malik Willis, when you play a quarterback of that caliber, you have to win the football game. When you play QB 32, you have to win the game. The Colts did not. This is the same thing I'm going to say if you lose to the Giants this year, or you lose to the Broncos, or you lose to the Bryce Young-led Panthers, or you lose to the Titans. You have no excuse for losing to a bad quarterback in the year of our Lord 2024. Sorry, you just don't. Teams are built around the quarterback. When the quarterback is that bad, you need to win the game. I know the Packers ran the ball well. Why are you getting gashed in the run game when you only have to care about the run game? So Colts, shame on you this week. It seems you have a week 2 problem. I remember when I did splash rants, I had an all-time rant because they blew like a 30-point lead to the Jags or something stupid.
Every team feels like they have a week 2 problem. Who knows? Next week I'll come by and we'll be talking about our teams completely differently. So who knows?
Yeah, it happens. All right. Jets, Jets. I know they won.
I think they're regular season Warriors, to be honest.
I think that feels a little harsh. I think the playoff hopeful tier, I feel a lot better about Buffalo winning the division now. And yeah. I know I did have the Jets winning the division, but
as this timer goes off.
Yeah, as my timer goes off. That is my need to roast the Jets button. The offensive line half stinks. The defense isn't as good as it was last year, and Rodgers is not as good as he was his MVP years or his Packers years generally. I'm okay knocking them down to the playoff hopeful tiers. They're better than Dallas because they can actually stop the run. I would take Cincinnati over them. I trust number 9 more than number 8 at this point in their careers.
I don't know.
Cincinnati and Dallas are very similar teams. I wonder who'd be favored in that game. Probably, well, I guess probably depends on who's at home. Titans, bottom of the regular season Warriors.
They're not.
The defense is fine, I guess, but Levis Mayonnaise man is.
I'm out on the offense, to be honest. I don't trust Will Levis anymore.
Tony Pollard looked fine.
Pollard's okay, but
Calvin Ridley 2 touchdowns. But yeah, Tennessee.
I still don't trust them to win football games.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to outlast teams
I'd
like
imagine for
New York or Cincinnati or New Orleans.
All right, Jacksonville. What Trevor Lawrence? Where are you going, pal? Last year I defended you. I went on a certain app that you work for. I no longer work for. I would say, what are the receivers doing? They're dropping dimes. He was great for 2 months. He and Matthew Stafford were great for 2 months. The stats didn't show that. Stafford continued to be great, and he led the Rams to the playoffs. Lawrence fell off a cliff. Regular season Warriors. I think they're better than the Raiders because I trust one current Jags quarterback over the former Jags quarterback. Worse than the Rams. Like, at least you have a good defensive player. That's nice. The Brandon Scherf, might be time to hang it up, pal. They're
going to be like the Rams defense after they get Hello. Like, they're going to have a defensive player.
Josh Hines Allen is better than Akilla Witherspoon, but I get what you're saying.
They play different positions, though. So.
That's true. Pittsburgh.
Is Pittsburgh still the middle of the mid?
Yes, they are the most.
We can put them straight in the middle, basically.
Yeah, we need a new tier for Pittsburgh, frankly. Just like the Pittsburgh tier. Because I frankly don't know if they're better than the Vikings. I think so they're 2-0 right now. So all they have to do is go 7-8 the rest of the way to make the playoffs. They're going to sweep Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati. They're probably going to split with Cincinnati. They're going to sweep Cleveland. They're going to sweep Baltimore. They're going to split with Cincinnati. So that's 7 wins for them. They already have 2 banked. They have to go 2-8 the rest of the way to get to 9-8, which means they're going to lose 80% of their remaining games. If they played Minnesota, I would give them about an 80% chance to lose that game. So they might be worse than Minnesota. But if they were in a different situation, they had to win 8 of their last 10 to make the playoffs or to go 9-8, then they would have an 80% chance of beating Minnesota. So I don't know where that calculus is going to end up falling. They do not play Minnesota this year, but I don't know where the calculus would end up falling there. But yeah, it's fine. I like Arizona having Kyler Murray more than Justin Fields, but I can't. If they played this week, I don't know who I'd take because the Steelers are a weird team. You have TJ Watt. That is a big force multiplier.
TJ Watt. We
Hayward.
always talk about how mid the Steelers are, and then we remember, oh yeah, TJ Watt plays for them. So
Yeah, they're really well coached. You have a star receiver, George Pickens. You have 2 good running backs. The offensive line is pretty good. Fields hasn't been bad, which is a start for him. TJ Watt
that's the thing, though. I'm curious to see how they play with Russ when Russ comes back. If there's any change there at all.
They've scored 1 touchdown in 8 quarters. I have my concerns. The defense is really good, but I have my concerns with the offense.
Touchdown in 8 quarters isn't good.
No, it's not.
For a superstar offense, you would expect a bit more out of that.
Yeah, and Chris Boswell, he's balling out to his credit. George Pickens, he's balling out to his credit. There's the shtick that Mahomes gets all the interceptions overturned. I've never seen a player get more big plays overturned than George Pickens. He's mossing guys like 60 yards down the field, and then there's a PI like 80 yards away. It's like, oh, come on. George Pickens just made the highlight of his life.
My least favorite penalties in the NFL have to be when they call something that didn't even affect the play. Like if Stafford would throw to Puka and it was a perfect catch and a completion, but then Cooper Kupp got interfered with, or he like held a guy in the completely other side of the field away from the play.
I know
you
have to call that, but that's just a buzzkill.
Yeah, it's those when a penalty that happens that doesn't even affect the play at all, unless it's something egregious like he punched him in the face or something like that. Then fair enough when that happens. But
Andre Johnson style. We'll keep it short and sweet with Denver. They are maybe next year.
Yeah,
they're 30. Seattle.
I was not familiar with your game in a way, I guess.
Okay. This is going to sound weird because Seattle's won both of their games. I'm less confident in Seattle than I was because I had them winning both of these games because I'm a sane human being. I had them beating Denver and New England. You can win games and not look great doing so. You can lose games and look perfectly adequate doing so, right? Like the Ravens losing week 1, I didn't think that was an indictment on the Ravens, or the Rams losing week 1. I didn't think.
I was going to say you just perfectly described the Rams. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They looked like
the Rams laid an egg week 2. The Ravens blew a lead week 2. Cincinnati losing to Kansas City, perfectly fine. They laid an egg week 1. Seattle, to me, has won but not looked great both weeks. The offensive line, not good. The defensive line, I thought was bolstered by playing a pretty cruddy Denver line. And I guess they did a reasonable enough job against Ramondre Stevenson, but then you have Antonio Gibson breaking big runs. So maybe we're not giving enough credit to New England, but I'm down on Seattle relative to where I had been. I don't remember. I'll pull it up where we had them last week, but I am.
Did we have them last week?
So we had them behind Pittsburgh last week. I still think they're in the playoff hopeful tier.
I think that's about where I have them still.
Yeah, I guess I put them behind Pittsburgh again.
Yeah. I am a little bit surprised, I guess, impressed with New England. Like last week, I wasn't really willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because it was more just like the Bengals should have beaten the brakes off this team.
Mm-hmm.
This week though, it's like, okay, maybe there is something to the Patriots this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have them at regular season Warriors, I think. Maybe playoff hopeful.
Which team?
Patriots.
Patriots. Yes, last week they were in the middle of the regular season Warriors.
I'd put them above the Rams probably. Maybe a little bit lower.
I would. So last week we had them ahead of the Raiders. I think this week we can move them behind the Raiders. The Patriots don't have the superstar talent like the Raiders do, but I think in a lot of ways they're the same team.
Fair.
You have a mediocre journeyman quarterback. You have, in theory, a good running game, although the Raiders had no run game to speak of on Sunday. You have one really good passing option, which in the Patriots case, Hunter Henry. Shout out to Hunter Henry. He called me on the phone once. That's one of my claims to fame. But
he balled out. Top 10 player list if he called him on the phone.
Should have. Yeah, he was balling out.
Had direct contact with that guy.
I do not have his number in my phone anymore, which is probably speaks to me as a bad person. Although I probably what do you do if you have a celebrity phone number? Okay, I will say if you're an NFL player, you are a celebrity. You're not an A-list celebrity, but you are a celebrity.
I think
what would you even do if you had like Jack? If you met like a good NFL player, just like someone who's like kind of nondescript. Like if you met Hunter Henry and you got Hunter Henry's phone number, you're not calling Hunter Henry.
No. I wouldn't bug a player like that either. Like that's not really.
I don't know.
I kind of tend to lean towards the side of like, let them live their life, you know.
Right.
Like, it's cool to meet them. It's cool to like shake their hand, get their picture.
We didn't do Cleveland when we did Jacksonville. I guess I'll put Cleveland behind Seattle. They all won, and they stay right in the same, like Pittsburgh. We moved Seattle ahead of Cleveland, but I think my point still stands on Deshaun Watson.
Where did he go?
Yeah.
It sucks.
So, anyways, Washington, better than Tennessee, worse than Miami. They did not score a touchdown on Sunday. They played the second worst team in football. They did not score a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't, that's basically exactly where I have them too. When you don't have a touchdown in a game like that, it's just.
They did win, and I picked them in Survivor, and they won. But
I don't know.
God, that was a rough watch.
They've got some work to do. I'm getting very scared watching Jaden Daniels run with the football. Like
I said last week, it looked like he got in a car crash every week. Just Jaden, talking to you, talking to your family, talking to someone that knows Jaden Daniels personally, that may or may not have his phone number actually. Slide. I don't want to have this conversation every week. Honestly, I'd rather have this conversation than have like an obituary, or have like the Tua conversation we had a little while ago. But can we slide, please? Can you get down? Can we get out of bounds? Can you watch Lamar?
Secure your helmet. Wear a helmet that can stay on your head.
Yes, watch Lamar film. Lamar doesn't slide, but Lamar's a little clunky in how he gets there. But he gets to the ground, he gets out of bounds, and you're an incredible athlete like Lamar. Just get down, please.
I am a little bit more scared, especially after what's happened with Tua, watching quarterbacks not slide too. Because like when you throw, granted, I think Tua
he could have done into the hit.
I was gonna say I think he could have. I'm trying to say this without sounding like insensitive. He could have done a much better job protecting himself on that play. Like he threw himself head first into Damar Hamlin's shoulder.
Yes.
Like that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's one that, listen, Tua, I know you're a quarterback. I know you want to amp up your team, but the quarterbacks that do that and amp up their team are more structurally sound, I'll say. They're the Josh Allens, the Cam Newtons of the world. They're the ones that are eating a hit like that. Jay Cutler, famous Dolphin, could eat a hit like that because he was built like a truck. Cam Newton, Josh Allen, they can take hits like that because they're built like trucks. Ben Roethlisberger can hit, you get what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're fragile. I'm saying you're not quite as built as some of the other quarterbacks in the NFL. So I would recommend
sliding.
Yeah, you are. This is just losing a physics equation for you. Josh Allen makes the physics work. Cam Newton made the physics work. Tua, you're not making the physics work. I would say the same thing to your teammates Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You do not need to be hit by these freight trains known as defensive players. Just get down, just get out of bounds, or run around them. The Giants, 31. Congratulations. Oh no, behind Denver. Carolina's 32.
Denver. Okay, yeah, sure. Carolina's 32.
I will say the Giants. I'm gonna defend the Giants for a moment. It was unfortunate they lost Graham Gano. They would have won if they had their kicker. They were forced to play aggressively, which I respect, and I respect that they actually went out and played aggressively. They had to go for it on fourth downs. They had to go for it on 2-point conversions. They just happened to go 0 for 2 on 2-point conversions. They missed an extra point with the punter, the Scottish Hammer, Jamie Gillian. That is, I think, the second time Gano's gotten injured in mid-game and screwed the Giants over. But yeah, kickers are important.
People too.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate the aggressiveness. Like I've done the whole bit with the Ravens and the Lions and the Eagles, or the Eagles not being aggressive. But you got to score. They did score 3 touchdowns. I will say that they have more touchdowns than the Steelers this year. But come on, please. Carolina Chargers. Carolina, you're 32. I have no more words. They benched Bryce Young. They're
not a football team.
They might be better. They're going to be better with Andy Dalton than Bryce Young. I don't know how hot of a take that is, but I don't know if they catch the Giants.
I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on what
Bryce Young is really bad.
Andy Dalton.
like last year, I think it was defensively bad because the offensive line was bad and the weapons are bad. And listen, the weapons are still bad. The offensive line is nothing great, but they have played a lot better. They were actually reasonable against the Chargers, in my opinion. They were actually reasonable against the Saints in week 1, like not disastrous. They weren't the worst offensive line of the week that really goes to Baltimore. Cleveland also hasn't had a particularly good offensive line this year, but regardless, Carolina, this is just a botched scenario the whole season. Mel Kiper has a great rant if you are into the rants. Chargers, I
have the Chargers on, like, I think I have them as playoff hopefuls, and the reason why is because I think that I think they're a bit more put together now than they were in years past, and
yeah, they took care of business.
Proof of that, I think, is J.K. Dobbins being the NFL's leading rusher through 2 weeks so far. Yeah, I mean, they look. I don't think they've played the strongest opponents. I think I would put them personally like ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah, we had them behind Minnesota last week.
I think this week it's fair to move them ahead, but
sure.
I think around Cleveland,
I think they play
Seattle.
Cleveland. Not this week. They play Pittsburgh this week, but they play.
I think like around that general area in the middle is where I would stop taking them to win games. But like in their current state, I don't know. I think they've got a chance to sneak in as a wild card. I didn't have that in my preseason predictions. Obviously, preseason predictions don't take into account things like injuries, things like teams not playing as well as they probably should, whatever. But
right, like things can change.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, the Chargers have impressed me. I think that's fair. They've. I'm not gonna say. I mean, I did pick them to win both week 1 and week 2, but unlike Seattle has kind of played down to their competition. I thought the Chargers, effectively beat the Raiders and effectively beat Carolina. So they get props while I'm kind of bashing Seattle and kind of bashing Pittsburgh for winning games. The Chargers, I think they deserve some credit for taking care of business. So that is our tier list for week 2
for this week.
Hopefully the Ravens can move up, and the
Rams defense exists. I just need Ahkello Witherspoon to show that he's still got it. I hope we're gonna get Darius Williams back off of IR too, so that will help. And it's like I said, reinforcements are coming, so they're not completely screwed. But
I think we have a clear number 1. Then like 2 through like 8, I think is largely interchangeable, and then the bottom 5 to me is very clear. I think Washington and Tennessee are a touch better than the other 3, but I think they're all grouped together. And Miami's in a weird spot, frankly.
What I will say next week is I know for the Rams specifically, it's gonna be a weird game against San Francisco because San Francisco, they're missing
own them anyways.
They own us anyways, but like at the same time, they're missing CMC. They're missing Deebo Samuel.
That I mean, we'll come to that bridge next week.
Yeah. They're missing players, so it both sides are going to be shorthanded. So it might be another one of those stupid weird games, but
for sure.
Yeah, that's our list for week 2.
From the NFL world to the NBA world, let's rank some jerseys. Let's give our thumbs up or thumbs down to some jerseys. I got a sneak peek of these earlier today. I think I'll be doing this an awful lot. So Jack,
I think I will too, but we'll see how many there are once we actually like get a close look at them. Lot of, for those who don't know, we had another leak in the fun world of sports. Every single NBA City Edition jersey for this year has been spoiled to the public. So there we go.
Okay. Overall, I know you just said no double thumbs down. Overall, this concept gets double thumbs down. These, like, as a group, look horrible.
I gotta be honest. I think that the idea of the City Edition, I get that it's like the whole point of it is that Nike and the NBA kind of want their teams to come out with something new every single year. But at some point when you do that, you're kind of just, I don't know, it can be both a good thing and a bad thing.
Right. Like there's a guy in Braves country. I think he does it for the Hawks too. He might do it for the Falcons, but he makes a jersey concept for every Hawks win, every Braves series win, and maybe every Falcons win. That is perfectly fine. If you wanted to do one for the Braves, there are 54 jersey combinations that you could make. There are 82 for the Hawks. There are 17 for the Falcons. There are 82 if Atlanta ever gets a hockey team again. Absolutely. But the thing with that is you don't necessarily need to wear all of those. Some of them are really good jersey concepts, but they wouldn't function as regular jerseys. When you go to the well over and over and over again, like Nike does, like the NBA does in this case, it gets bogged down, right?
See MLS.
Yeah, it gets bogged down. Like some of these don't need to exist. Some of these look like previous jerseys. What's the point? So,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
where do you want to start?
I guess we could just go from top to bottom, from left to right.
Okay.
Top to bottom.
Heat culture. You should have instituted the double thumbs down rule the next time because this is a quintessential awful. Why do you have the word culture on your jersey?
This is like a fashion jersey is what this would be. This would be like something, just save it for the fans. Like, yeah, thumbs down. What if like I don't know, like what if the team just falls completely apart and then people are making fun of the whole heat culture thing? Like it's just like you're opening yourself up to jokes in that regard.
Yeah, it's just a fundamentally bad jersey. Why do you have the word culture on your jersey? Come on, be serious. Please be I beg you to be serious. Miami, you have wonderful jerseys. The Marlins have great jerseys. The Panthers have great jerseys. The Dolphins have great jerseys. The Heat have great jerseys. This is an F. I know we're not doing tiers. This is an F. This deserves to be counted as an F. This deserves to be in the bottom of the bottom tiers. I would be ashamed if I were a Miami Heat fan. I would be ashamed if I was from Florida. In fact, I'm ashamed because I've been in Florida in the last 10 years. I've been in the city of Miami once in my life, and I am ashamed to have been in that city because this jersey is an abomination. And
you know what worries me too about this jersey is that like we're not even seeing it with the numbers yet, and I'm really worried that the numbers on this jersey are going to be black, and you can't. It's fundamentally bad to do that. To like put like red is they're already using a dark shade of red, and then they're going to put black on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't read that.
Right.
I hope that's not what they do, but that feels like that's what they're going to do. So
just F.
Yeah.
Bad. Thumbs down. New York. I think it's probably just missing the number, but this looks really bland.
There are pinstripes on it too. It's kind of hard
okay.
to tell.
Okay. I guess I see the pinstripe. It's I would generally lean thumb down. It's worse than the regular jerseys. I guess my scale is if I were playing NBA 2K, would I edit the jerseys to be like this? Would I change, like before the game starts, would I go in and like change the jersey from like association to city or alternate or whatever? No, I would not. Boo.
I don't think I wouldn't, but I will say I don't like what they're doing. I'm gonna go thumbs down because I don't like what they're doing with the word mark on the front. Like just make it like blue with an orange drop shadow that isn't like so far apart from it. Like it just looks like somebody screwed up with like the heat press or something.
Mm-hmm.
However they make these jerseys.
Yeah, that's weird. All right.
I like where they're going. It's just that it doesn't work. The execution could have been better.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I think it's downgrades from the regular jerseys. The Knicks have iconic jerseys. The Magic. Solid. I like the pinstripes. I like the callback to like they've had pinstripes in their history. It's a different font than usual.
I don't know if I love the saloon font per se, but
I kind of like it. I kind of vibe with it. I would change it from time to time. Maybe not every time, but I would change it from time to time if I played NBA 2K. Sixers. Yeah, I like these.
Yeah, these are fine.
Yeah.
Call back to the spectrum.
They're fine. They're good. That's a nice change of pace jersey, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't know, like a Saturday night alternate or like a matinee alternate, something like that.
Yeah.
Or like a holiday special. Yeah, they're fine. New Orleans. I don't know. I generally like New Orleans stuff. I have an Anthony Davis jersey. I wish I waited and gotten one in red, but I needed one that year, so I just got a blue one. It's perfectly fine. So far, it would be like number 3. It's not a clear thumbs down or a clear thumbs up to me.
I did say you could do.
Yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly adequate.
That's probably where I would put it too. It's there. Like you can
Yeah.
tell it is one of their jersey. It does everything that it needs
Mm-hmm.
to do for that team. It's just I don't know. It could be improved, but
Mm-hmm.
it's adequate. Like you said, I think adequate is a good word for it.
Okay, Phoenix, we have a caveat. If the number is in the star, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
If the number is
I would
not
imagine
in the
I would
star-
imagine that's what they're doing because I don't think there's anywhere else to put the number. Like
Yeah.
you could put it on the side of the star, but that wouldn't look as good. So I think they're doing the number.
Yeah. If you put it in the star, it's a thumbs up. If you don't put it in the star, it's a thumbs down. That's as simple as it is. It's a excellent jersey, but the number placement matters on this one.
Phoenix area jersey.
Yes, this is really good. Really good. Rip City, Portland.
Rip City.
It kind of gives me like Premier League vibes, just with an ad, not Rip City.
Yeah.
I think this is middle.
I'd go mid too. I think
It's
it's fine. I don't love the white stripes on the back, but I don't hate the pattern that it looks like is there.
Mhm.
I don't hate the whole Rip City thing either. I think that's
Right.
fine. Like that's sort of their thing. So
All right, Kings. Thumbs up. I like the throwback. I like the getting back to their roots, when they were the Rochester Royals, the Kansas City Kings, the Omaha Kings. I like
I was
getting
gonna
back
go
to the roots.
thumbs down, but to be honest with you, just because the Kings do throwbacks all the time, it feels like. But to be honest with you, I like that it actually is a throwback that says Kings and it doesn't say something weird like Sacktown or whatever on it. So
The Sacktown ones are weird.
yeah,
But yeah, I like when teams, mess with the colors a little bit. So it
reverse
passes the
retro
vibe check for
style in
me.
a way, I guess. I
Bucks.
can live with it.
Milwaukee.
What is? I don't know what I'm looking at.
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
what
blue.
that's supposed to be a design, like the design in the front. Like
It's
is that supposed
like
to
a
be like?
base font. I could probably find that the next time we do a slideshow. Just like
But
Bucks.
I mean the like this stripe that they have on the front. Like is that
yes.
supposed to be like?
I don't know what that is supposed to be. Is it
I'm
their
gonna-
season? Is it like the downward trend of their
This is their
seasons?
season.
That might be what it is. If it's that, and they're that meta about themselves, S tier. I know this isn't tiers, but S tier
Here's
for
what I'm
that
gonna
meta.
do. I'm gonna do mid for now.
Yeah,
And the reason
we need to
why
figure out
is
what
just
the-
because
the
I
line
don't
is.
know what it's supposed to be. If it,
Right.
I think using an alternate color with the blue is fine or whatever.
Mhm.
But like
Yes,
these are supposed
I
to be
agree.
city edition, which means they're supposed to have some kind of connection to the
Mhm.
fan base or the city that they play in. So maybe this is like a landmark somewhere in Milwaukee or whatever, or
Mhm.
maybe it's like an enlarged outline of
Something.
something.
Because I know Minnesota. This is a Minnesota thing, not a Wisconsin thing. To be clear, Minnesota has a little point that jumps up past the
Yeah.
49th parallel into Canada, and you're like, why is that Minnesota? Because politics. So that would be weird for a Minnesota jersey, but I guess I don't know if Minnesotans are. Is that the demonym Minnesotans? I don't know if Minnesotans care about that part of land very much, but here we are, I guess. Raptors. Bang!
I mean, what else needs to be said?
Beautiful.
I put this on the same level as I put the Tampa Bay Rays with their City Connect.
Beautiful.
Something about animal mascots like that playing sports. Sometimes they can be a miss, but usually they can. They're hits. Like this is just exactly what it is.
Only hang up is it does have a number 15 for Vince Carter. So do you have the double jersey numbers now?
Everyone's wearing 15.
It's like Jackie Robinson Day, but for Vince Carter. Oh, okay. Beautiful.
thumbs up.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Well,
This is exactly
second
what
best to me, but
you
perfect.
need. This is exactly what you need in a city jersey. So.
So I know
I have a feeling I know what your number one is, but
yes.
keep going.
I try to keep these short. Washington, I would like to give you your props. You had a jersey last year in this style that was I saw it in person when I went to the Cavs game. An abomination. It was the worst. It was a bad group of jerseys, but this was the worst of the jerseys. It was horrible. I don't actually know if we ranked them.
If it was last year, we weren't on.
Yeah.
We didn't.
I don't know if
our
they-
show was on hiatus still. So
Yeah, I don't know if maybe we did like for just like a bit, like we ranked them together and like posted a list. I don't know, but last year, utter crap, bottom of the barrel. This very good, thumbs up, good job, Washington. You redeemed yourselves.
Yeah,
I'm
I
proud
like
of
it.
you.
The more I look at it, I'm a fan. I can vibe with it.
Yeah, I know they were just trying to do different colors. I get it, but these are good. These are good. Oklahoma City.
I vibe with it.
Do you need a reminder that your team is Oklahoma City?
Yeah, that's probably the one and only thing, but I'll vibe with it.
I like the
I don't
colors. I
know.
like everything about it, but
I like.
if it was like Oklahoma on top and City on the bottom, that would be icy.
Yeah, that would be really
Like
cool too.
exactly what Golden State. Then you're just copying Golden State's. So
Well, I don't think it matters really, but yeah,
Fair.
I give these a thumbs up. I like the black. I like the pattern on the side. I think the color usage is perfect. Again, I understand your hang up that it
Yeah.
could say Oklahoma City instead of just Oklahoma, but I don't think that's the most egregious thing of all time.
that's fair. I like just one thumbs down, even if we were in the two system. But just one thumbs down. San Antonio,
Thumbs down.
it's
I don't vibe with it.
Like half of the I'd go, I guess, down. I wouldn't change these. The Spurs have this I'm gonna call it Detroit Red Wings syndrome, that they only have two colors, so it's very
We
weird
had
to
that
have
weird toothpaste era with them. if you didn't
yeah
know.
yeah, but they really should be like gray and black. They should be like grayscale jerseys.
Yeah.
I get it, but like I'd go down. Utah, we love the purples. These are great. These are excellent. Good stuff.
I love these jerseys. These are fantastic. The Utah Jazz rebrand this offseason, phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Great stuff. Great
Everything about
throwback.
it slaps.
This is the best part. This brings the best part of the Kings throwback and the best part of the Raptors. This is like the best of the best. And the Valley Phoenix. This is great. This is an excellent jersey. I would not be ashamed to have this in my collection.
I don't think it's too different from their new primary set this year, but even still,
True.
like it's just fantastic. It's a good jersey.
Hawks. Good job. I like it. I like the blue. It's important to the city. I think it's MLK Day. They wear blue jerseys like this, but I like it. Sort of in the style of the Dominique Wilkins era. The font's a little weird for that, but it's sort of. I like them.
It's fine with me. I would probably go mid on it just because I don't love the throwback design, but I can understand it. It's a throwback, and I also like it when I had a friend in a group chat not too long ago bring up how he lives in Atlanta, and so like all of the Atlanta sports teams have like red as their primary color, or they'll use like red and black in some capacity. So he said he really likes it when Atlanta teams get away from that, and yeah, I like that connection to the city that they make. It's not my favorite throwback design choice.
Fair.
But it's not. But yeah, that's the only reason why I'd go mid on it. But it's all right.
Brooklyn. These are okay. I'd say they're mid.
Yeah, I'd say I want to hate it, but I don't. I can kind of understand why they're going with like this weird like gray camo pattern type of deal.
San
I don't
Antonio,
love
you
the
should
war
try
mark
something
on the
like
front,
that.
but
Like I think that Brooklyn should have done something like the Kings and done like a throwback to when they had color, and I think the Spurs should have done something like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So they're fine. Charlotte, they're like
probably.
they're
I mean,
fine.
it's
they're
a
good.
new color, but it's the same Charlotte jersey. Like it's the same thing. Like it doesn't really.
That's fair. Not my strongest thumbs up, I would say.
The Bulls.
Bulls.
I can't read this jersey.
This is Bucks, but without color.
I've got kind of the same criticism as the Mavs too. Like I can't read those jerseys.
So Mavs, bottom of the barrel. Bulls, not good. It's like San Antonio.
They're both thumbs down, basically.
Bucks problems.
I don't hate the designs. I don't hate what they're trying to do design wise, but I just can't see or read them. Like it's a light color on a light color. That's a fundamental jersey design failure. So
yep. But Mavs, you're bottom of the barrel. We're not going to talk about it. Golden State, are you the Golden State Nuggets? Because those jerseys look an awful lot like what the Nuggets wear with the pickaxes in the middle.
If they wear those against the Nuggets, it's going to be pretty confusing. But
yeah, I like them. I give them a thumbs up. They just look a lot like Denver's.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Or
But
like
you
a
have to
regular
remember
Denver
that,
jersey.
like there was that weird era where they had those as their colors, so
Hmm.
it's okay. I don't hate it. I go mid on it.
All right,
But
Houston Rockets.
H-Town.
Uh,
Uh,
I like that they're different. I like that they're trying something like Rip City and the Valley, and I like that it's not heat culture. I'll give them a thumbs up for trying.
yeah,
I think there's a better way to go about it. It's fine.
thumbs up for trying. A for effort, always.
Okay, Clippers. I'm conflicted. I love the color. I think like powder blue is underutilized. Look at the Chargers.
I don't know a
Clips,
single person that calls them the Clips.
like you
I
might
don't
call
know.
them the Clips, like to like cut it off so it's like the Cavs or the Mavs. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
but
fair. But
Clippers isn't that
I
long.
haven't seen people use that with the Clippers though ever. Like it's not.
Right.
It doesn't seem as regular as Cavs, Mavs.
The Nugs.
They should have put that. They should have had a collaboration with Wendy's or something, and just called themselves the Nugs for
Oh my
a
god.
game.
So Clippers, you have things I like, you have things I don't like. I'm gonna throw you right in the middle.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Celtics.
Do I get a controversial thumbs up on this one?
Wow. Okay.
I dig it. Honestly, I do dig it. I think that maybe design wise it could have been a little bit better, but I love the neon green idea. It reminds me of like the Dallas Stars, like how the Dallas Stars have basically the same colors as the Celtics, like the gray, the silver, whatever you want to call it, the white, the black, the green, and then for their alternates they have like a black jersey that has neon.
Yeah, like highlighter green.
Yeah, I like this. I think that it's well executed. It's not too noisy. Like I said, it could have been a bit better design wise, but it's not like an obnoxious like they're throwing a big fluorescent highlighter green at you. Like I think that they.
Are you trying to call out the Seahawks, my friend?
Maybe.
Okay, you just stop disrespecting the Seahawks. Although
I'm not disrespecting the Seahawks. I just the action green, tennis ball green.
We love action green. Celtics. I don't know if I want to give this one thumbs up or try to grow a third hand so I can do 3 thumbs down. It looks like a summer league jersey, so that's my hang up.
That's fair.
I don't know if it's because there's no numbers. That might be the issue.
That might be hurting that. Yeah, I
similar
think
to the Phoenix one. So I will tentatively put this one in the middle. It's fine. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
This is your team. The floor is yours.
Bang! Love him. I will be ordering a Donovan Mitchell jersey in this as soon as I can. I get an extra paycheck this week, so might have to do it then. So bang, good job, Cleveland. Good job. Love it. I do. Okay, it's not my absolute favorite. That's probably Toronto or Utah. It's in the top 3 though. I wish the land was white, perhaps.
More visible.
Yeah.
That's probably my only hang up with this jersey.
Yes.
You can't read it, so.
Pistons. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
This
is one of those A for effort type deals in my opinion.
Yeah. I think they're going to get creamed a lot while wearing these. Ha! Got him!
Got him.
Zinga! But yeah. So it's good. I would wear it. I'm not a Pistons fan, so I wouldn't actually wear it. But if I were playing with the Pistons or against the Pistons in NBA 2K, I'd flip over from time to time. Indy. You did this last year. Or 2
I think
years
they did
ago.
actually. Maybe.
Yeah, so
I remember something.
Thumbs down for duplicating your previous installment.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree there.
The same thing with different, but they did different colors at least.
I will say, in general, I actually don't hate the idea of like the paint type deal or whatever they have.
Yeah, I like that.
And I like the indie, like that it says indie.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind that.
I just think that it feels like overused a little bit. Go for a little bit more originality next year.
That's fine. Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets. Okay, here's what I like about this jersey. I actually like the 5280. I like that on the front. I think it's going to look a little bit weird having another number below it, but
that is actual factuals right there, my friend.
Yeah, but
so
I kind of don't hate it. I don't know.
A topographic map? Is that like a mountain?
Yeah, this is supposed to be like a mountain range on the side.
Okay, gorgeous.
I like that.
I wish it said Denver. I wish it said Denver. I wish it had. No, take it back.
You wish it said
You
Nugs.
do that. You do that with the houses, the old, like the Mahmoud Abdul Rauf era jerseys. I need one of those, by the way. I desperately need one of those.
Yeah,
He's one of my
that would
favorite
look really
players
good.
ever. Those jerseys are the S tier of S tiers. If we went back and like ranked every show we did, even in the blank stadium era, all 95 episodes, and we ranked all of them, and we ranked every S tier, the Denver Nuggets blue houses.
You think that's strongly of them? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
They are up there. They are elite. They are phenomenal. They are fabulous in every way. I wish I owned one. Your team. I have my thoughts. Your team. Oh, double thumbs up for the Nuggets. They're top 5.
If I were to design a team in NBA 2K and make it a gradient, I think the Lakers use the 2 best colors for it. I think that a black on purple gradient, I think it's about the best way, the color usage that you possibly can. I think my only hang up is that I would have done it the other way around. I would have done black to purple.
Mm-hmm.
Or purple to black. Like the top would have been purple, the bottom and like the shorts and everything would have been black. I don't have an issue with the Lake Show on the front. I really don't. Like, I like this. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I really like this jersey. I think that people call them the Lake Show all the time. You might as well just put that on the front of the jersey because I can see your cringe face. I get that. You have your opinion about that.
I need to grow several hands, in fact, to give this a thumbs down. I do not like the Lake Show. It's similar to Heat Culture. I don't mind the colors. I get what you're saying. I think the grading's a little weird to me. But if it said Lakers, I could give it a thumbs up. We love purple.
This is another reason why I think you have to. I give it a thumbs up also because it's not the same as every other jersey. All their jerseys say Lakers. Literally all of them.
That's true.
The throwback probably says MPLS if they have that one still, or if they have like the blue and white. So I think going out of the box a little bit, which is the point of these jerseys in a way.
Yeah.
I think by that metric it passes. And this is probably something I've always liked black Lakers jerseys. I've always liked purple Laker jerseys.
Yeah. So. You make fair points. I have been persuaded.
Okay. Mission accomplished. I persuaded as well.
I'll give them a thumbs up. Okay.
All right.
Memphis. These look like Christmas jerseys. And listen, they are good Christmas jerseys, but they look like Christmas jerseys.
They look like the Miami Marlins. They remind me of the Miami Marlins.
Kings. Those are great, by the way. You know, the Rockies are getting new ones.
Yeah, so I've heard. The Rockies are getting.
So, Memphis, incomplete because I've seen these before. I feel like I've seen them before, at least.
Yeah, they don't stand out to me. They're good, but they just don't really have that standout factor.
Minnesota.
I want to like it.
Okay,
I want to like it. I really do, but I can't read Minnesota, and I don't like it's such a harsh transition from black to a blue to a lighter blue to white.
Mm-hmm. They would really benefit from looking at the Twins and just using the M and the N.
Yeah,
instead of Minnesota.
That would actually look pretty solid. And then there's no green. I've always liked their green, like trim color that they've had. I'm kind of missing that here. I think maybe if the text was green, it would have been readable. But maybe design-wise, that probably wouldn't have looked the greatest. So I get it.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's such a harsh color transition, and it's not readable. But I like that kind of pattern that they have going on in the middle of it. So I give it a mid, just because. I don't know. I see what they're going for. I just think it could have been executed better.
For sure. So better than I thought it would be. There were several double thumbs up that I didn't think I'd be giving besides Cleveland. I saw Cleveland's and like, this slaps. Toronto's very good. A couple of these to be determined. Phoenix, Milwaukee, Atlanta, depending on where the jersey numbers are. I like the Atlanta ones, but depending on where the jersey numbers are, those could go haywire. Denver, just switch it up just a smidge. Use the houses. The houses with the topographic map. Ascension. Utah, good job.
Cue the light dropping down with the choir singing in the background. Listen, I convinced you.
When I do that,
I convinced you on the Lakers jersey, so I'll take my victory.
That's your win. Neither of our football teams have a win yet, so that was our first win.
There you go. We did it.
The funniest part is our baseball teams actually split the series. So
you put a gag order on that, but we ended 3 games were blowouts, but we ended up splitting the series.
God.
So
Raisel
Lynch.
Iglesias, 5 earned runs. No,
Wow.
he was so good. He had a 1-1
Shohei,
ERA.
unfortunately, in this game that was going on the side, did not get to 50-50 quite yet, but the the Dodgers did win.
If I didn't work every night,
8-4.
we could do a live stream for that.
All right. Well, I'm out of topics. I think we're kind of
Yeah, I think so too.
we kind of touched on everything.
All right.
We're about
so
to hit
the
2
Ravens
hours.
play Dallas this week. They could be 0-5. There's a reasonable chance when we do this show on October the 9th.
That both of our teams are 0-5.
I don't know who you guys face the next 2 weeks, but I know we could lose the next 2 games.
We've got the Niners next week, which is
So,
yay.
Auto L.
And then we play Green Bay. I don't know who we play.
If Love's
before
back,
Green Bay.
then you're probably cooked. But if Love's not back, then it's Blake Willis. That I will not be watching half of that football game. Rams offense versus Packers defense, yes, but I don't have any
play the
particular
Bears.
interest in watching Malik Willis against your defense.
We play the Bears after the 49ers. So.
That's
That'd
a
be
fun
winnable
matchup.
game. I think like I was telling you with the Rams, I agree with your points. I totally get it.
Mhm.
But I think that if they get healthier and the pieces come back, there's a chance. That's all I'll say.
It's the the trope is immovable object versus unstoppable force. It's the very movable Chicago Bears offensive line versus the not very mobile Los Angeles Rams defensive line.
defense.
Jared Verse might have to get 10 pressures in that game, and they'll be the only 10.
And he can do
pressures.
it. He can
I
very
don't know,
much
yeah.
do it. That's really all I think that with the current roster, all it comes down to is just finish your damn tackles. That's it.
Mhm.
That's my one thing. If you get
someone
sacks or if
defensively
you can
to pop.
get stops in the backfield and shut down the run game, your defense can suddenly do things. And
Mhm.
we're having a completely different conversation next week. So who knows?
This was such a strange episode because we're over 2 hours. I don't feel like we rambled. I felt like we kept things relatively short. We just talked about a lot of different things.
Yeah. I think those are some of the better episodes, though. Sometimes you kind of get to bounce around a little bit so you can't stick to one single topic forever.
I thought we had 4, frankly, really good segments. Your top 10, my top 10, the week 2 stuff, and then City Connect. I thought it was really good. Anyways, I'm actually going to do the plugs unlike the episode of the baseball podcast. I forgot to do the plugs. You can follow us on socials. We have at the Sports Desk 99 down on the bottom. You can follow us on YouTube, which that's where we'll be posting this at the Scoreboard Watch. I am at Mr. Splashman 19 on X. Jack is at Starblade125 on X, formerly known as Twitter. I still call it Twitter or the Bird app.
I do too. Bird app, Twitter.
Lost my will to live. Hopefully, I will have some more will to live next week.
And hopefully in 4 weeks, I'll be off
hopefully
of
you're
IR.
designated to return.
Hope so.
So, unlike Juwan James. So, unfortunately.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
That is going to do it. Thank you for watching episode 68 of the Sports Desk. Or 68?
Definitely not 68. 96.
Why did that number come out? I was about to say 96 and then 68 came out. What a blooper.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for watching episode 96 of the Sports Desk. And as always, Super Bowl champion Aaron Donald trains with knives. We'll see you guys next week.